Hi guys, and welcome to another card video. Today I'm going to talk about working with sketches. So the sketch that I'm using for today's card is the MFT Challenge Sketch 363. It is the sketch that is active just right now. However, they do have new sketch challenges every week. So if you miss this one, you can always play along with others, and you can always use these for your cards. So for the big box part at the bottom of the sketch, I'm using a stitch rectangle corner stacks or corner rectangle stitch, something like that. I choose this specific one because it fitted the joyful stamp from the handwritten holidays stamp set perfectly. And I'm stamping that with some latte dye ink just in the middle of it. I'm using Sweet Tooth white cardstock by MFT all throughout this. I'm using mostly MFT card products this time because I am entering this into the challenge, and as it is a MFT challenge, I prefer to use their products when I'm entering stuff like that. But yeah, so on the sketch there's also a flag at the bottom of the box. So I decided to use this teeny tiny flag from the Tag Builder 5 set, which I cut out in the latte cardstock to match with the printed joyful. I'm gonna add some heat embossed Christmas onto that, and I'm using this stamp from the Happy PAWLIDAYS stamp set, and I've cut that apart, yes, with a scissor, because I just wanted to use the Christmas. I can still use the whole sentiment if I want to. I put some powder onto the cardstock so to remove static, and then I'm stamping it with Versamark ink. Versamark ink is a clear sticky ink that will help the embossing powder to stick a little bit easier. I'm gonna heat emboss this in white to kind of make it the opposite of what the box is. The box is white with latte ink, and then I do have the sentiment, which is latte cardstock with white ink, or in this case embossing powder. I really love the Hero Arts embossing powder, their fine one for white embossing. It is awesome. Then I'm just using a heat tool to heat this. I'm using one of those longer heat tools because they do heat centrally and are better for just embossing powders. And then I'm gonna add it to the bottom of the box. And I'm adding it at a little bit towards the right so that you will automatically read Joyful Christmas. And then the kind of bottom box for the sketch is done. When you're working with sketches, you have a lot of freedom. It's basically just a hint of what you're supposed to do or what you want to do. It's a help tool to kind of figure out how your layout is going to be. So I am going to add this at the same place so that I have finished off the sketch as it is. I'm adding it onto a panel, and the panel I have cut out with the stitched rectangle stacks. And I'm only using foam tape at the bottom because I'm going to add some more to this card because I wanted to have a little bit more detail. But I'm using a panel because I like to have that stitch detail onto the outer panel just as an extra thing. It, for me, gives that extra detail and a little bit of an extra pop to the card. But I'm continuing on with a white card base, so it's just barely visible. It's actually more visible in real life than it is here because my camera blows out this white pretty much. But it just gives you a little bit more framing of the card. And as the card looks right now, it follows the sketch, so it could be finished there. You could say that this is my sketch and that's done. But I wanted a little bit of detail, and MFT have a little bit of, also have a color challenge, and I thought I would throw that into my card just because it would be a little bit fun. So the colors that they wanted to have on the card was the latte, which I already have, and then the tropical teal, pure plum, and safety orange. So I cut out my stars in those colors, or my snowflakes. Those are not stars, those are snowflakes. Sorry about that. But my snowflakes, they are also a MFT die, and I cut them out in those different colors. And when I did that, I actually cut them out so that I had all the different sizes in all the different colors, and then I played around a little bit with what I wanted. But in the end, I actually ended up making cards with all of them. So basically identical cards except for the difference in sizes, or the different sizes having different colored snowflakes. I'm adding the snowflakes with the QUICKIE glue pen. This is a very wet ink, and therefore when you add your die cuts or whatever you use that you glue down with the QUICKIE ink, you want to add some pressure onto them, both with your fingers, but I also put a one of those acrylic block on top of it to kind of hold them down, so that when the ink is drying, it will kind of stick to the paper better. But I really like that QUICKIE glue pen, and you can always just put your cards to a side with the weight on, and then your card can dry while you do other things in between. But yeah, that is how my card ended up. It's very clean, it's very simple, and it's very quick to do. It's easy to do, so you can do multiples of them pretty quick. So if you haven't, like me, sent out your Christmas card yet, yeah, I'm very late, you can just sit down and do a whole bunch of these. Write your sentiment inside, or your message inside, and send them out. So that was the first card, but I did do a couple of versions of this. In one place I've used, here I've kind of switched around the different colors, still the same sizes in the same place, but different colors. Here I used some After Midnight ink and paper at the sentiment, and some blue glitter cardstock for my snowflake. Here I instead used the squared rectangle corner stacks, and another sentiment from the same sentiment stack, but in elf green. And then I went with some cement gray and added the snowflakes in kind of a diagonal line across the card, still keeping with the sketch. But that was my video for today. I hope you liked it. If you do, please thumbs it up. If you have any questions, just comment down below. And thank you again for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye!